My most recent Code Geass video has had one of the most interesting comment sections in a while. Many harsh comments towards Nina as one would expect, but also many lovely people defending Nina and saying that they never felt any ill will towards her at all, which, I'm gonna be honest, I did not expect to see. Some expressed that we could further discuss Nina, and I agree. I'm Zero, this is Kato, and in this video I'll analyze Nina's journey throughout R2 with the lens I provided in my last video, and really dig into why we hate Nina and why I just included myself. Let's begin. But first, the Kato Anthology is a collection of epic tales with over 80 pages of passionate art, available for as low as $5 at our Kickstarter. With your help, we passed the goal in 36 hours, and are now working on our second stretch goal, which will allow us to send every single person who bought a physical book an additional custom-designed Kato chess piece, free of charge. You want a bishop inspired by Kurapika and the Kurta clan, or a knight dressed like Sokka? Get your copy of the book and help get us over 4,200. Link in the description. Come, witness these curated creations directed by my partner in crime, Dr. Hoodie. What are you waiting for? The prize is within your reach. You need only step forward and grasp it. The rest is up to you. Now, back to the video. Following the death of Princess Euphemia, those who knew her well were consumed by grief and strange confusion. How could it make any sense that the kindest woman they knew would spend her final hours spreading bloodshed, hatred, and carnage? This incomprehensible misunderstanding is what precedes the vengeful hatred for her killer. And it's important to distinguish between the reactions of those who knew her well and those who did not. For Cornelia, this irreconcilable question led her to single-handedly tracking down the Geass Order to understand what happened to Yuffie. Suzaku was nearly broken by the madness of the answer, and clung even more radically to the ideals that Euphemia admired. To Nina, though, who had been skeptical of the Special Zone since its announcement, only one question remained. How dare Zero continue to draw breath? Upon the news of Euphemia's death, Nina cracked. All of the energy she had spent diverting the dangers of her research was redirected to use the only form of strength she possessed, her scientific mind, to kill the man responsible for stealing the love of her life. She became obsessed with and willing to toss away everything she cared about for one thing: revenge. Fortunately, in this state, she made a few mathematical errors that prevented what would have otherwise been a most unfortunate kamikaze attack, as Zero was no longer in the Tokyo settlement when she finally attempted to detonate her device. And those who cared about her were able to stop her from endangering herself further, until finally, a miracle. She hears news that Zero has been executed. But in only a single year, that demon crawled out of hell. Zero had returned, which meant her revenge still had a chance. When we next see Nina, she's at the side of the second most powerful man in Britannia. The scrutiny of Britannian high society is new to her, but she's able to compose herself. She seems happy when she unexpectedly runs into Millie, and the two of them go outside to catch up. Although it's worth noting that Nina probably judges that Millie hasn't changed quickly. Nina might see Millie's revealing dress as a desperate display of Millie's attractiveness to try to control the men at the party like she once had rivals wrapped around her finger. Someone who's full of contempt and insecure about their own appearance like Nina might make this sort of judgment. That's at least one explanation for why, as the scene opens, Nina makes a comment about Millie still going to school at Ashford Academy. This is colloquially referred to as a slick diss. Millie lets it bounce off of her and says that she's relieved to see Nina doing well. Millie, viewing the situation straightforwardly, is just treating Nina like she would while they were back at school. But Nina is treating Millie like another one of the vicious Britannian nobles who are all jealous of her proximity to power. She expects them to act friendly with her, and makes snide comments to undermine her confidence. Millie is trying to tell Nina that she doesn't have to keep up a strong front with her, and that she knows how tough it can be around nobles. But the way she says it, and the fact that she says she's relieved to see Nina doing well after what happened, as though that's surprising, irritates Nina. What advice does she have to offer? Millie Ashford's never been the center of attention in a place like this. Now Nina can get the upper hand again. When she realizes that Millie isn't being two-faced, she erupts even more, because she demands not to be treated like a weak girl who needs protecting, the Nina we see in R1. Schneisel is coaching Nina in the art of the mask, but she has far from mastered it. Being confronted with someone who knows who she was not long ago, someone who knows she's gay, in this setting is all it took for her hidden emotions to overwhelm her. She doesn't know how to be genuine, and her outburst reveals how little she has changed, and how desperate she still truly is. This is all before she's aware Zero has arrived, and a lot of Britannians in the room watch with stinging secondhand embarrassment as Nina goes full mask off with her racism, calling Japanese people slurs to their face and calling for justice for her genocidal girl boss. You can tell they're all thinking, damn girl, don't say that out loud. Nina's breakdown reinforces that despite her facade, she isn't really as kept together as she would forcibly assert that she is. Millie seems to understand, but she then ends up telling Nina that Shirley died over a text because Nina wasn't answering her phone. This unexpected loss forces Nina to break down at work, and she finally gets a tip on being genuine from her mentor. As soon as the flare tests succeed, Nina elects to put the weapon of mass destruction in the hands of Suzaku Kururugi, Euphemia's knight. There are two reasons she decides to force this burden on him. She wants to test his resolve as Euphemia's knight. Surely if anyone would want to avenge her princess as badly as she does, it would be him or Cornelia, but Cornelia is not an option. Suzaku encounters Zero on the battlefield often enough that it should be easy to kill Zero with the flare and end the war. The only problem is that the weapon is too powerful. Its blast will almost certainly kill civilians. Zero presents a threat to Britannia that's worth the risk. And this is where her second reason comes in. She's testing the system that accepts honorary Britannians. If he is able to become an honorary Britannian, that is, truly accept Britannian ideology, he should be able to fire the flare at 11s. He must emancipate himself from his former people. That's what she says when she mounts the flare on the Lancelot. For Suzaku, it's the ultimate test. The woman who embodies the confused fear and distrust the Britannian people harbor for the Japanese tells the man trying to save his country that he must be a soldier. That he's either an 11 or he's Princess Massacre's knight. Even Lloyd warns Nina that this paradox is too bloodthirsty. This is the sadistic scientist who spends this series laughing at Suzaku's moral quandary as a thinly veiled warning to escape while he can, and also tries to warn Nina that her science will threaten her very soul. His final plea falls on deathly resolute ears. And so Suzaku accepts, prepared to answer an impossible question. When Zero appears to sack Tokyo, Suzaku arrives on the battlefield prepared to stop Zero while carrying the flare, but he refuses to use it. Last time they spoke, he was able to make Zero see reason, and he hopes there's still a chance to end this peacefully. More importantly, he would never sacrifice innocent lives to achieve a goal. Instead, he'll do everything in his power to defeat Zero honorably. This decision puts Nina's anxieties on edge. She believes everything will be over and she'll finally feel relief with a pull of a single trigger. And Suzaku's refusal to grant that enrages her. And tragically, just as everything is going well for Zero in this difficult battle, when Colin's strength in the new Gurren overwhelms Suzaku and threatens his life, the Geass command seizes control over Suzaku, and the stage sees a new massacre play out. Despite Suzaku's pure intentions, his hands were stained with irredeemable evil nonetheless. All thanks to Geass. He's already crossed the line. He has passed Britannia's test, and he demands his bloody prize. Nina too was struck harshly by these events. She knew what she was doing was evil, but she didn't care about anyone in the world aside from someone who was already gone. She certainly didn't care about firing the flare over Tokyo. It's not until she witnessed the reality of the destruction, not until she read the list of the dead Britannians and Japanese, that she realized. In her desperation, she reaches out to Lloyd for consolation, who only repeats his earlier warning, and she breaks down under the weight of her guilt. Perhaps it all would have been worth it to kill Zero, to avenge Euphemia. Perhaps that end would justify her bloody means. But Zero survived, and all that remained was gruesome reality. She had been manipulated into unleashing an evil power into the world, and nothing could justify its existence. She couldn't continue her work. She finally accepts Millie's offer from the party and hides out with her while working through her grief at Ashford Academy, the one place that accepts her regardless of what she has to offer. Until this point, she's too blinded by her rage to truly understand Euphemia's feelings. She could only let go of her hatred and begin to long for peace through learning firsthand the horrors of war. Once she does, and once she's captured by Lelouch, she agrees to work hard to destroy the weapon she created. Not by Geass command, or through manipulation like Schneisel, but because it's what she wanted for the world. Nina Einstein, the contempt of Britannia, is finally redeemed and aligned with everyone else in their desire for peace. But all that's obvious, right? You don't really need me to explain that Nina made an epically tragic mistake and feels bad about it. So why do people feel the need to keep commenting about the flare on my last Code Geass video? Let's be real for a second. Do people actually care that Nina created the flare? I know you may think you do, but the real answer is no. Yes, Nina created a weapon capable of mass destruction. And yet the death toll on her shoulders is still dwarfed by the likes of Lelouch and C2, who became directly responsible for all events of the series when they knowingly plunged Japan back into war under false pretenses. Simply put, if you hated her because of the lives she forfeited or the weapons she created, you either hate Lelouch too, or you have to stop hating her. So it's fair to say most of these people are only using this fact as a convenient shield. Perhaps they don't really examine what they hate about her in the first place, they just dislike seeing someone oppose Zero. Or they just inexplicably can't look at her the same after the table scene. I guess that's the other thing the comments demanded that I discuss. You all just couldn't let go of the fact that I didn't want to talk about the table scene. I'll say, you're all lucky your eyes haven't accidentally settled on your reflection mid-wank. I bet you wouldn't look any less deranged than you accuse this poor, repressed girl of being. A lot of comments call the scene in question gross or cringe, or say that she should just do it in her room. One comment even vehemently argued that Nino actually wasn't gay for Euphemia at all, and their relationship was actually just entirely about the power dynamic and her admiration for Euphemia. It seems like none of them can empathize with a private, closeted girl having persistent feelings of a distinctly sexual nature about a respected woman in their highly prejudiced society. Then there are the comments saying, "You think their society is homophobic?" Psh. Millie makes jokes about being gay, and people quietly echo discreetly shared gay thoughts sometimes. I wonder if these people are witnessing the same reality, where events like this happen, but there are still people who are active members of their community, but don't like the idea of working, praying, or eating in the presence of a gay person. We got a comment on the last video pretty early on, claiming that it wasn't a coincidence that Nina is among the most hated characters, and the only one that never had an opposite-sex love interest. At the time, I was inclined to defend the show's fans and say it wasn't about that, but after seeing the people who persistently continue to hate Nina even after thinking about it, I could think of only one other origin for the contradiction in their logic. They just hate Nina and Suzaku because they oppose Lelouch. And hey, it's okay to pick sides, this is a fictional show, have fun. I would honestly prefer to see comments just saying, "Haha, fuck Nina, Team Zero for life." That would get a thumbs up from me. But, come on, keep it fun and light. But I think that if we're holding someone to the standards of human behavior, we should extend to them the same courtesies we would a real person. And in that regard, the treatment towards Nina seems cruel at times. In conclusion, Nina is rad cause she makes me mad. Can you tell I didn't know how to end this video? I had fun making it though, and hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you all for listening to my dumb rants, particularly our lovely patrons like Ethan Fecker. Subscribe for more. If you're awestruck by my narrative insight or just want cool custom chess pieces, consider reading my comic in the Kato anthology, or checking out patreon.com/KatoYT. We'll see you in another video again soon. Last thing I have to say about the comments on that other video. I keep seeing people saying, "Charles' point is right, we're not all equal, everyone's different." Well, what makes our differences unequal? Answer that, Hitler.